collectors and may not be suitable for children under 13 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another episode of the Sitrep. And tonight, my guests are James the Con and Bobby the Bot from the YouTube channel Bot vs. Con. Now, I just recently discovered these guys earlier last week when I was researching the TFCon LA exclusive Wingman. Let me get all in camera right here. I ordered it, but I thought, let me go online, find out a little bit about this figure. The videos that these guys put out was the first ones I watched, and I love their style. We got two reviewers on the same channel on opposite ends of the country that get together to talk plastic robots. I thought it was awesome, a unique way to review figures and go over figures. Asked them to be on the Sitrep, and they showed up. So it's this is going to be our first Sitrep threesome. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
So, James the Con, Bobby the Bot, welcome to Patriot Prime Reviews. Appreciate you coming on. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. We are Bot versus Con. And who are you, Bobby?
Oh, I'm Bobby the Bot.
And I'm James the Con. So we discuss a lot of Transformer news. We do some reviews, usually chill reviews, and a whole bunch of cool stuff. So is there anything that you want to say that we do, Bobby, that I'm forgetting?
Oh, yeah. We definitely disagree.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's how much we disagree. I disagree that we disagree.
Would that be the verses in the title?
Exactly.
Okay.
Definitely.
And, a little bit of background. We, different age groups, different sides of the company, grew up on different avenues of Transformers. And so we felt that there was kind of a either you like this or you like that. And we felt like you can like everything, but let's talk about it. Let's debate it. Why is G1 better than everything else? Because it is. There we go. But to somebody like James, he'll say something different.
Because I grew up without G1. I grew up in a time where everything was monkeys and T-Rexes. So that's what I personally like, and that's what I grew into. And my first Optimus Prime that was a vehicle was RID 2001. And it really confused me, to be quite honest with you, why he was a fire engine. Yeah, no, I did not. It wasn't my favorite. And we could get into that later. We have a whole video.
Trust me, I didn't go. We've been in the green room for a while. These Sitreps derail constantly. So just be ready for that.
Yeah. So I didn't back it just because I needed posable hands. And I didn't want to have to pay $50 for a DNA kit with posable hands. And I think
the
Bobby's
thing for me is it's the 40th anniversary of the Transformers. Why are we getting an RID figure?
That too. That's a very good point as well. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like HasLabs need to be unique, different, and groundbreaking.
Yep.
And this one didn't feel that way.
To me, it felt like it was a makeup for people who didn't get the RID combiner. That's pretty much what it is. It's like, hey, how can we sell something that people want, but we don't have to put a lot of effort in? And effort, they did put effort in. Let me not say that, but it's not something that we have to reinvent the wheel on. When they came out with the Unicron, it was just like, holy crap, this is humongous. We've always wanted a Unicron. Let's back it. With this one, it seemed like an easy play for them.
Yeah. And two, I think I was talking with some of my other buddies as far as a 40th anniversary G1 figure. What have they not done yet? The from 84, because you'd think you'd want it from 84
right
for the 40th anniversary. Your only big giant Titans you could have got from 84, Devastator. I mean, he showed up in the final episode, but that's about it. There was no major humongous figure to really go over unless you would do like a HasLab Optimus Prime with like every gadget and gimmick he would ever come with, but still, that's hard to justify that price range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
was
could also have done it.
Devastator.
Yeah, I was thinking Devastator as well. They could have done a diorama of the Ark as well,
Ooh,
like in the mountain, but then
Ooh.
again, that's not a Transformers figure. So would people have backed it as much? And what would the price have been?
I would have.
Now I'm ready for a Titan Tripareticus or what was the Maximal one?
Magnaboss.
Magnaboss.
I would take those in a heartbeat.
See, I only
love
collected
non-conventional
Predacons back in the
combiners.
Beast Wars day.
Okay. Yeah. I don't blame you. There's some really cool figures there.
All right. I was going to ask you a question, but I think I'm going to wait till we get to the YouTube part because, well, we'll wait. We'll go ahead and get started. So, Sitrep is 10 questions, 5 questions for you as Transformer collectors and 5 questions for you as YouTubers. So, number 1, what is the appeal of Transformers for you?
Go ahead, James.
Okay. For me, it's the story. We were talking a little bit before this. I learned most of the stories through comics and world building, but because of that, I had to use my imagination to connect the dots. And that world building within and storytelling of myself is what I really like. So that's why I like all these off the wall repaints, is because I make a story with them and I figure it out. So it's a way for me to express my creativity. So that's the main draw of Transformers to me.
Definitely different answer for me. For me, 7, 8-year-old Bobby, you played with cars and action figures, and Transformers gave you both in one package, winning all day. It was, hey, I'm on the playground, I'm running around as Optimus Prime, and then I do some and lay on the ground and start rolling, and I'm Optimus Prime the truck. Oh, as a kid, you couldn't tell me anything better than that. So
as a kid, you made that Transformer sound every time you transformed that figure.
all the time, and you fought over who was going to be which character, whatever your favorite was. So I'm Optimus Prime. No, I'm Optimus Prime. Or I'm Megatron. No, I'm Megatron. So yeah, it's just childhood nostalgia for me.
Yeah, that's the big draw. That's for sure. Well, you'll like this question. Number 2, aside from G1, which is always the number 1 answer, what is your favorite Transformers fiction?
Go ahead, Bobby.
I didn't say these questions were easy.
Yeah. G1 times 2. I would probably have to say Prime, maybe. That's the first thing that jumped to my
See, it's okay. There's no wrong answers. We don't judge here. We discussed that earlier.
Yeah. I'm judging myself here. Yeah, I think I guess I'll say Prime. Let's go with Prime.
Okay.
That's a good choice. I actually have a whole series on Blu-ray. That was a good one.
For me, besides like what I just said, the random stories in my head, I would probably say the Universe 1.0 comics. I liked how wacky and crazy they were. Are they part of G1? Maybe. You could consider them that, but I would probably say those. If you consider them G1, because Beast Wars is technically G1. So
it is, but I take that as a different answer because
okay, then I'd say Beast Wars if you consider the comics part of G1.
See, because that's my favorite. I'm a G1er all day, but Beast Wars definitely had the best story. Especially, I've said this many times. My issue now, I didn't notice as much as a kid, but with new Transformers series coming out, if you watch, they always start out so kiddified. They're always geared toward those 6 to 10-year-olds. But about halfway through the season, they're like, the 6 to 10-year-olds aren't watching this. The series gets darker, more violent, and kicks it up a notch. And that's when it gets good. Just like with Beast Wars. Remember, it was really goofy at first. And then when they started finding the alien artifacts and everything started tying together. And I love it.
Yeah.
That's right up James' alley there.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's the only series I have on DVD.
I think
Beast Wars. So.
I've got all the Beast Wars, all of the don't judge Beast Machines. I bought it when I was in Iraq. Now that series sucked, but I liked the ending. I mean, it was hard to get used to, boy. At the ending, like when Megatron took over Prime's body, I thought that was really cool. And then I got all the Prime on Blu-ray, and I think that's it. I've tried watching those other series. I just can't get into them. I don't know what it is.
I did a binge watch of shows last year. So I watched Beast Wars for the first time all the way through. I watched Victory, and I actually watched Animation. That was painful.
You mean animated?
Animated, excuse me. Yes, and see, that's how painful it was. I had to add some
say
letters. I had to put it in the past. Animated, yeah, animation. I watched RID and Cybertron and Armada. You know, just kind of try to watch everything. So when I gave an opinion on it, and I said I didn't like it, I could actually say I didn't like it, and I just recently watched it, and I still don't like it.
I've tried a couple times. It's the animation that always puts me off. And once again, it gets really kiddified. I did like the end of season 1 where Megatron first comes back, and I mean it gets a little violent and heavy, and then it just kind of went weird again. But
yeah. For animated, for me, I didn't watch it because of the animation back in, when I was a kid, but then I started watching it and it wasn't bad. I liked the changes they did to the G1 story to make it different. Like Ultra Magnus is the leader and Prime, I think is an engineer and stuff like that. I liked that different, but the animation's hard to get past.
I remember watching it for the very first time because I was really excited. New Transformers cartoon. Yes. And you remember the opening had the G1 art style. They actually had stills from the cartoon. Or they drew it like the cartoon. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And then that goofy Teen Titans animation came on. I was like, oh.
Hell no.
I felt my heart break.
I had a little tear. Just kind of.
That was terrible. All right. Number 3. Do you have a favorite figure or grail? A figure you would never let go of? Say you have to sell everything. This one is not going anywhere. 1.
Oh, Bobby. I'll let Bobby think about it because he's been asked that question before and he can never pick one. Mine, it's more because it has personal sentiment to me and it's a character that I love as well, is the Perfect Effect Cryotech, which is right there behind everybody.
Oh, I see the wings.
Yeah, so he's my favorite one. It was given to me by a family member who I really appreciated, who bought me a lot of these third-party Transformers. So that would be, and it's my favorite character. I love Cryotech. He's a gangster, and you can't get much more mean than that. So I definitely would say that one.
Is that the real big one?
No, he's over there.
Okay, because I've got that Megatron.
The Xinjiang, I think it's called.
I think because I saw him at a TF Con, I was like, he is glorious. Yes. And then I finally got him.
In the case,
no, this is the one that's more what's that called? Has more it's more greebles and stuff. Looks more anime kind of than So now Bobby, last time you did a cop out. So now you can't cop out this time.
Well, the question was a little bit easier. It's like in a fire, who would you save? And I was just like, I'm pushing the case out the door, so it's a little bit easier. So this might be a little bit of a cop out as well. I'm gonna say HasLab Unicron, only because the price of it is so expensive, and I could easily probably get some of the other figures, and that one's just like ridiculously priced, so I would say that one. But my favorite figure, I'm going to have to say, is G1 Optimus Prime, because I remember getting it. There's a picture somewhere floating around in the world, exactly, and I remember my uncle buying that for me. I remember opening it up for Christmas, and you couldn't tell me anything. And whenever we get together, they'll actually pull out this picture of me opening it, and it was the coolest thing as a kid that I could ever have. And I actually have 2 of them. I don't have my original, but I do have 2 now.
It's funny. I just transformed that without even looking at it.
It's yeah.
Actually, I have him out because we got a new local restaurant here in town, and there is a food vlogger that goes all over West Virginia. So I did like an ad for him, telling him to come on down to my town. I was like, hey, transform and roll on out and come down to this diner. And while I'm talking to him, I just transformed Optimus. So at the very end, I had to transform. So that's why he happens to be there. Of course, I always use Prime to do size comparisons with Autobots and Megatron for Decepticons. So he's already right there. Yeah. All right, so that hard question's answered. Let's ask another hard one. What figure is your white whale, your most wanted toy? You don't have this one yet in your collection, but you could stop collecting if you got this figure right here.
Stop collecting is a
I know, but I'm just using it as examples. You got it. It's like asking you guys to stop breathing.
So I am on the hunt for Fans Toys Spotter, aka Reflector. That's the only Fans Toys figure that I don't have right now. I started in a third-party game late, so over the last 2 years, I've grabbed everything Fans Toys related, and that's the only one that I'm missing. So I would be happy to pause my collecting after I got that.
For me, I mean, I just got one of my white whales, which was Shockeract. So
that was just fun to say.
Yeah, I know, right? I think another one would be probably the Tigatron, the original BotCon Tigatron that's out of the Ravage repaint. Because I'm trying to collect all of those BotCon figures. It's the Ravage that's like a body and the head turns down and it's like white and blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been to a BotCon. I'd love to go to one, but after going to TF cons all the time, those are the ones I like going to.
Yeah, and it's not the same anymore. No,
I've heard that.
No offense. I've never been to one of the new ones, but when I went to the BotCon in 2011, it was a different feeling because it was sponsored by Hasbro. It was a different air in the room compared to even TFCon, but TFCons
like
are fun
corporate control.
Well, back then it was they were still doing that, but there wasn't as many third parties around because this was at the beginning of third party. Yeah, 2011. So the Rodimus from Fans Project just came out and whatnot, and it was just fun being around, meeting all the designers from Hasbro and all that stuff. That was a lot of fun, and I don't think you would get that at a BotCon nowadays.
Yeah, I've heard stories. My buddy Rodimus Primal, he goes to BotCons. Deluxe Baldwin, I think he goes all the time. He said they're a little different, but the TF cons, man, they're my favorite. I've been to this one coming up will be my 4th. And my very first convention was funny. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And since it was Charlotte, they based the convention around Sharkticons. So they called it Sharkticon. And it's like one of the worst names ever. I think I made the comment in your video. Was it?
Yes.
Y'all talk about T-Fuck Nation or what? The
yes. You're like, what? And then, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that one wins. That's worth.
We need some dots in there, some
hyphens,
some dashes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was
what the hell's T-Fuck-a-con?
Yeah, I was just like, okay, look, put the children to bed. We're about to go into the deep end of the conversation here.
What does that transform into?
And it vibrates.
See, we just derailed. We derailed. This is normal. This is normal. That's why I never monetize these. So actually, that's where I first met Jason. We were talking about him earlier, and I got one of his very first creations. This is the exclusive from Shark. I can even say it, Sharkticon back then.
Oh wow!
It's
I remember seeing that online.
I think they only made 600 of them, maybe 700.
I think it was a lot less than that.
Yeah, because I waited in line.
I think it was like 150 because he said he hand painted those.
Yeah, I've never transformed him because he was afraid of that, and I still got my pint glass.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled.
They need pint glasses for TFCon.
Well, I know somebody makes really good ones.
might need to get one of those so I can have a different glass to drink out of.
Yeah, actually, I took mine to TFCon, but Bert and I ended up drinking what we lovingly referred to as Capri Suns. We bought a bunch of those pouch margaritas. We brought them from his house. They were all frozen. We took them to our room. The freezer wasn't working in the freezer, so they're just having the fridge. They all liquefied. So here we are, these two grown-ass mans with straws and these I run into a couple of subscribers from Germany, really cool guys. What are you drinking? I said, oh, it's Capri Suns. Oh, so it stuck. All right, where are we at? Number 5. What is your favorite Transformer character? Any fiction, any media. I won't judge. People in the chat might. I won't.
Go ahead.
I mean, I can go.
Go ahead and say Willie, James. I know you've been hiding.
How did you
that.
know it's Wheelie, Bobby? Yeah, it's Wheelie, especially the one that's the repainted Jazz. No, I already said mine, and I was already judged at TFCon for saying that he's my favorite Transformer character.
Yeah, but I didn't see you there.
And that's Cryotech. So, I mean, there's something special.
See, I'm not that familiar with him. I need to research him a little bit more.
Well, I think a lot of why I like it is the stories I made up in my head.
There you go.
But I built off of what they already.
I love what's in my head. I'm a freaking legend in my own mind.
Exactly. Yeah. So I really like Cryotech and what I've personally made him into.
So this one pains me to say, but I've always liked Megatron.
My man.
And it as a kid, I never had the toy, so that legacy of wanting him and having him or whatever always grew, and I just thought he was vicious enough. Like, Star Wars was Darth Vader, Transformers was Megatron and Scarface. That was like, that was like, and I could probably throw in somebody else, for my Mount Rushmore of villains, but Megatron was like that guy. He was that dude for me.
Okay, so how much did it pain you when these live action movies came on that Megatron was nothing but a freaking side character? 15 minutes in the first movie, the Fallen's bitch in the second movie, Sentinel Prime's bitch in the third movie, whatever the hell he was in the fourth movie, and then I hated that. And then you get Bumblebee, which to me, that's the best Transformer movie after 86.
Yes.
And then we see that Megatron was concept art, but never brought to fruition. And I'm like, how can you take the main villain of a 40-year-old series and not include him?
They have neutered him. It's bad when the most vicious Megatron is from the 86 cartoon all these years later. It's painful. And we talk about on the channel, one of the things that we do agree on is that out of the live action movies, we thought Bumblebee was the best.
Yeah.
And it was because of the storyline, the development of the character. It seemed like the other movies really played too much on the humans in the movies more than the Transformers. So it just kind of derailed the movies for us.
And for me too, what I liked about Bumblebee is the other Transformer movies, the Decepticons were always cannon fodder, these insect looking bots. But in Bumblebee, you took these two characters. I remember when they were first announced, I was like, who the hell are these two? Yeah. But it worked. We didn't have any attachment to those names or those characters. Here is two badass new Decepticons, and they lived up to the name. I mean, the first thing they did when they landed on the planet was blow a guy away. Like, yep, that's what Decepticons do.
Yes.
And they were actually deceptive.
Yes.
Where they went to the humans and like worked with them. You don't see that a lot in Transformers media. They're just bad guys. So
that's one of the best lines ever was,
Decepticons are cool.
Well, I can't remember his name, but John Cena. They're Decepticons. It's literally in the name.
That was hilarious.
All right. So that wraps up our Transformers question. Now we're going to get into YouTube. And this was interesting because I want when I ask this, I want you guys to kind of tell your origin story where the idea of doing the split screen thing came on, because to me, that's what really drew me to your channel. So question number 6, what possessed you, grown ass men, to do toy reviews on YouTube?
You want to take this or you want me to take it?
Why don't you start it off with how we met?
Okay. So James and I met at a con, TF Con in LA in 2022. And we met in the customizing class, but I had noticed him because he was with his wife. And I was thinking, my wife had blessed me with tickets to TF Con for my birthday. So that was my gift. And she said, you can go. I'm not gonna go. You can spend more money if you go by yourself. So I was like, okay, awesome, cool. And then I go solo and I see this guy with his wife, and I'm like, how the hell did he get his wife to go to do this customizing class?
I'm gonna pause you right there. My wife went with me to Sharticon, to my very first Transformer convention. It was in August. You know how a lot of convention goers forget the speed stick?
It's hot. And
so my wife walks in there and she's like, nope. So that's pretty much it for her. I think the last convention she went to was a Lego convention.
The kids.
All right, back to the story. I just had to throw that in. She never watches, so I don't get in trouble.
Well, mine might be watching, so but no, it was interesting because I wanted to see like what was he saying to make his wife curious about going, to see if either I missed something or what. But anyways, we sat at the same table together. We ended up talking, and from there we just started hanging out we went to the next convention together, and both of our wives were together at that time. We were in Chicago, and we were just talking about Transformers, talking to Jason, ironically, Get Right Robot, shout out to him. And they were like, you guys should start a channel. And I was like, what? We're not starting a YouTube channel. And as we started talking about it, we started talking ourselves into it. And fast forward, here we are.
Yeah, my version of that story is my wife was like, I'm going to find you a Transformers friend. We're going to go to this thing and you're going to find somebody to talk to about this stuff. And
was this your first?
She's
con?
very supportive. That was my first TF Con. I went to BotCon about 11 years before that. We went and we sat at the same table, and the rest is history. And I think with starting YouTube, we were thinking about it. And then I said, well, we were thinking of names, and like, what about Bot versus Con? And it just clicked. The gears went together and they started rolling. And like Bobby said, here we are now.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, let me make sure I didn't cover this. I will cover this in a second, so never mind. So what keeps inspiring you to get in front of your camera? Question number 7.
It's fun. It's actually fun. I think somewhat, there's a couple of my friends that like Transformers. I started collecting again a couple of years ago, which is primarily what's behind me. And it was fun to have somebody to talk to about this stuff. And James had more of a insight on third party than I did, much more than I did, and what had happened between when I stopped collecting and when I started collecting again. So it was cool to bounce ideas off of somebody. And then literally it became, we're just talking on video about what we talk about through text messages.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's part 1. Part 2 is for all of the fans watching. It's a lot of fun knowing people are going to be watching these videos and commenting and talking to them and meeting them at TF cons and stuff like that. So it's really cool to hear people say, we've had a few people say, oh, you guys are my favorite channel, just because of our banter and stuff. And it is, but it's very humbling and I really appreciate it. So that's part 2. One is it's fun.
We were walking around TF Con, because I'm with my group of guys, and they just run up to, I love you guys. Hey, and they call us by our YouTube name,
yeah.
which is funny. And one of the coolest moments of TFCon for us is we don't do it as much now. It's just hard for everybody to get together. But right before TFCon, we all got on a live stream together. I think there was like 10 of us. And this kid took a screenshot of that live stream. And he walked around TFCon until he found every one of us to sign that picture for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was so
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
But yeah, I'm with you guys there. It's the friends. I mean, I got a bunch of them in the chat right now. I got Kato and Inu Tabi and Rodimus Primal was in here. But then that's what we go for, is just meeting the friends, and just that's what keeps us going. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'll let you all talk some more. I always tend to derail.
No, we love it. And it's ironic enough, we're still fans. And, I saw you personally in Orlando this year. I think you were in Orlando.
I had the Hawaiian shirt on.
And yes. And so I saw you in the dealer room, and I've seen, Deluxe, I've seen Kato, kind of walking by or whatever. And I was just like, oh, look, because I'm a fan of other YouTubers as well. So it's cool to say I am part of this new media, if you want to call it. It's kind of fun to say that we're meeting people that we're fans of as well. It's kind of like going playing professional sports. It's like it's like you try to do it, and then you finally make it to the league, and it's just like, okay, we may be on our way to the league.
And what's funny is everybody that I met through YouTube, I run into them as well. Everybody is so personable. I have yet to meet anybody who has a different personality in real life than they are on YouTube. Now, very first TFCon I went to, I'm not going to say his name, but I met a YouTuber, walked up and introduced myself, and it was just like, why are you talking to me? And it put me off against that guy, and I quit watching his stuff.
Wow.
And I swore I would never be like that. Because I'll have people after the fact, they'll hop on like live streams like this. Oh, I saw you at the con, but I was afraid to come up and talk to you. It's like, why not? Come up, say hi. I will talk to you just like I talk to anybody else.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
That's one of the things, we encourage as well. I used to do, in another life, I used to do stand-up comedy. And so being on stage and kind of talking to a crowd, it was kind of natural for me to do. Working it and doing Transformers or talking about Transformers is totally different, but it's still fun. And when the fans come up, I'm a fan of the fans that like us. I'm like, hey, you actually subscribe to our channel. Let's take a picture together. Like, I welcome all that because I can appreciate it. And I would, as you said, I would want somebody to do that for me too, as a kid or a fan or whatever.
That's one of the things I tried my damnedest to do at TFConf. They came up to me and they shook my hand. I wanted a selfie with them.
Yes.
I mean, to give them and then I put it all on YouTube for them. I was like, this is why I do it. I think you're the guy, you're the reason I'm doing this.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you got guys like Hoyce. He's just there making money. He was one of our buddies, and he had a booth, but man, he was Mr. Krabs. He never left the booth. I think everybody who went, I know Fire Talks did the booth, Hoist, and everybody's like, we're not going to do a booth this time. We want to have, because they missed out on a lot of the stuff that we did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, where are we at now? Oh, here we go. This is kind of what I get into. Is question number 8 is, there are thousands of toy reviewers on YouTube. What differentiates you from the rest? And that's where I want to bring up is the dual screen. How do you make that happen? It's got to be hard, especially with one of you being on the East Coast, one of you being on the West Coast, to organize to get your videos together. So I know that's what makes you different. How did that come to be? And I just think it's awesome. Now, real quick, is if you're not subscribed to Bot versus Con, I put a link to their channel in the description of this video. Subscribe, check them out. You'll dig it too. So carry on.
So I think it came about from a technological aspect. Is we wanted to do it, but we're in different places. So it took a while to figure out what software to use. But now that we're on StreamYard, that's what we use. It's really smooth, and we wanted to really be different. So we wanted to show both
There's
of our
your,
opinions.
there's your one right there. You just got a new one.
No, thank you,
I'm
Kato.
sorry, it's Kato. But he's all right.
So we really
He's a
wanted to show
Hasbro
this
hater.
dichotomy. He might fit in.
That's an inside joke.
We really wanted to show the dichotomy because Bobby and I are so different in so many different ways. Literally, you couldn't get two more different people, not just with Transformers. And we wanted to show that off. We wanted to show that you guys can have different opinions and you still can be friends.
Exactly. See, that's what the world needs more today. More plastic robots.
Definitely.
All of our problems will be solved.
Yeah. And then it was, some of the other difficulties is time, So, I have a 4-year-old, so it's just like, okay, I have to wait for James to get off of work. I have to wait till, the kid goes to bed. And so, we really are operating on totally two different schedules, but it also makes it fun for us because it's like, we're really trying to make this work. And we're really doing a lot to make this a great show. I watch sports debate, and that's where, when we were talking about it, it was like, we should have a debate show, because you like this and because I don't, and because I like this and you don't. I think, as James mentioned, it's okay for you to like what you like. It's okay for me to like what I like. And if we disagree, that's great. We all like Transformers. And maybe you can convince me to like something that I had no idea about, and vice versa.
Which we definitely have before.
Yeah. No wrong opinions, just different opinions. Amen.
Exactly.
Correct. Yes.
Amen. So that's a good answer. I like that. But yeah, that's, like I said, when I saw that split screen thing, and I think I read in the comments, or I read something where you said you were on opposite ends of the country. I was like, how the hell do they do that? I'm like you guys. It's the time thing for me. I've got a full-time job. I got a 9-year-old. I got a wife. I fix dinner. You got stuff to do around the house. And for me, it's getting that time to do it. And plus, I think we mentioned it earlier, the thing about doing YouTube is it has to be fun. I have to be in the right mindset to sit down and review one of these figures. Because if you feel like I have got to sit down and knock out this review of this figure right now, I got to do it tonight. You're rushed. Your video is going to look like crap. Your viewers are going to know when you're forcing stuff. I mean, I've had many people comment, I could tell you love that figure. The joy in your voice when you went over it, I think it was with maybe Jetfire. I dug out my G1 Jetfire, cleaned him up, because that's one of the advantages when you're viewing stuff from your own collection. You'll pick something out you hadn't touched for years, like, oh my gosh, where's the, give it a good clean and put it in front of the camera. And just going over that figure again just brought back all that nostalgia, and it came through on the video.
Yes.
So, like you said, you got to have fun while you're doing it. If you think of it as a job, you're going to not have fun with it. I mean, I make tens of dollars doing this. So, it's not about the money.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think I could retire in like 7,468 decades, but it's something where also for us, when somebody comments and says, I watched your review, or I heard you talk about this figure and I bought it and I love it, and anything you recommend, I'm going to buy. I don't always, I don't want you to hold that tag on us, but it's, when it works out, it's like, all right, great, we did good. But
well, right off the bat, you made me feel good when you said, hey, I'll watch your Toyhax videos. You get me to buy these decals. I'm like, well, no, thanks.
Yes. Because the other thing that makes us different is that we are honest and we'll say we do not like a figure. And that's something that, some reviewers say it, but it's like, I'm sorry, not every figure that comes out is great. And I've
gotten really picky anymore with what I get. There, when I first started, I made that classic YouTuber mistake. I'm YouTubing, I'm reviewing new figures. I got to buy this just to review it. And then you're stuck with shit that you don't want, that you can't sell. Yep. And I've just quit doing that, because I've had a lot of people say, well, how come you didn't review this United figure or this United figure? I was like, well, I didn't want it. I'm not familiar with that character. I'm not spending my money to buy a figure I really have no interest in. So,
and not only that, but, I remember as a kid, I had $15. I can get this figure, or I can get this figure. And it's like, if YouTube was around there, I would want somebody to be like, you know what, you should get this figure, and get my hard-earned money from washing cars to buy that figure and say, you know what, I'm glad I got this, instead of somebody saying that this figure is great and it's really trash. And now I'm like, dang, I got to go wash 5 more cars now to, go buy the other figure or something like that. So, I think that's also what we think about. We think about people with, limited budgets who want to get into collecting, or who have families and have, or kids, or, wherever situation you're in, for somebody to be honest and say, hey, this one's trash and this one's pretty good. I think it helps.
Definitely.
I think we pretty much dove into question number 9, which was, what's the one thing that you find is the hardest about being a YouTuber? And of course, number 1, I think for all of us, is time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working, you got the family and everything. Is there anything else that you struggle with being a YouTuber? I mean, does negative comments, I mean, everybody gets them. Does that kind of get to you? You just blow it off, whatever, because that's the glory of the internet right there. It really used to bother me when I got some, but now it's like, oh well.
For negative comments, I see them, Bobby talked about the debates and stuff. I see them as an opportunity for a debate. I think Bobby does the same thing. Well, why don't you like that? Why do you like that? Why do you think that we think this way? That type of thing. I try to question them in a respectful manner. But I don't think we get many negative comments. So, maybe we will one day. But right now,
I don't have any wood in here. Knock on wood.
There you go.
Knock on wood.
My biggest thing when I started, where I got the nastiest comments, was, how dare I have the name Patriot? Think of the way the world is now. I mean, I got some horrible stuff, and I was ready to just quit YouTube. I was like, it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. But my friends, who I'm good friends with now, they, I raved to them. I voiced things, and they said, just ignore it. That's what the block button's for, and keep on keeping on. And I'm glad I did. Here it is, 2 years later, channel's doing great, and I never let it bother me.
That's probably, I think there was only one comment, and it wasn't necessarily bad, but it was somebody left the channel, unsubscribed, and their reason was because we talked bad about the figures that they liked. They said we never say anything good about the figures they like. And I felt bad for them not being able to respect our opinions. But then I also was just like, well, I wish we could talk better about figures and say that they were good. But if we made somebody upset, sorry, it wasn't our intention. But it was just like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna lie to you. If I don't like it, I don't like it. It's sorry.
See, that's a good idea. Have toy reviews live at the TFCon bar. Give me them Capri Suns.
Yes, they'll be definitely.
I know for a fact that the bar at Baltimore knows how to make really good military grade margaritas.
I'm all for it. James will.
Oh, there's Deluxe. Thank you. He loves Transformers. He does.
We all do.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, this is number 10, last and final question. Do you have any channel goals for yourself? Where can our viewers find you? Plug yourself away.
Take it away, Bobby.
Well, we'll start it this way. If you're looking for a channel where you'll get 2 knuckleheads who talk about Transformers, who love different iterations of Transformers, you came to the right spot. Bot vs. Con is a debate show based off of 2 totally different personalities from totally different areas of the country that talk about plastic toys, or as we call it, plastic crack, all the time. And, I'm Bobby the Bot, and that is
James the Con.
And together we are
Bot versus Con.
And I just now noticed y'all got your merch too.
Yeah, just a little bit.
to be announced. To be announced. Yes.
Yeah, of course, I'm sitting there just plugging mine away on what merch. I don't. I mean, I don't have much.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't have much down here now.
It's funny going when my channel started. I was always wore a hat, and that was just my thing. I started off with the veteran hat, and then I got the hat here. And going to TF cons, it's hot. I don't wear a hat, and I had so many people. I didn't recognize you without the hat. And then somebody said, "You have hair?" They always thought I was bald. And ever since then, I was like, my hair looks good. I'm not gonna wear a hat in the video. So a lot of times anymore, if you catch me with that hat on, it means I'm filming really early and haven't been in the shower yet to fix the hair.
Yeah, there's we actually just released a blooper video on the
Blooper
channel.
videos are awesome.
And it's just funny because the prep work behind the scenes. So that's the other thing about us, you have two people that are trying to get ready for the same video. So, we're checking lighting. I have dry lips, so I'm putting chapstick on or I'm putting lotion on. James is fixing his hair and twitching his hat, and so it's just, I'm working on that,
I just shaved mine off, and I thought my wife was going to kill me. I was like, why'd you shave your beard? I was like, because all my old is in my face. I'm 50 years old. There's no gray up here. I look like freaking Santa Claus with a beard. So, I mean,
well, this is I just turned 47, so this is 47 years of growth right here. So yeah.
All right, so that is pretty much it for my questions. We're 46 minutes in. I'm going to open it up to the floor. Does anybody have any questions for James the Con or Bobby the Bot or me? Cato, PPR has dry lips. Won't tell you how he knows. I mean, what happens at TF Con stays at TF Con. Everybody knows that. Ho, ho, hoo-ah. Oh, and that's the thing I started doing too, was the hoo-ah at the end. One video I forgot to do it. I got blasted. Where's the hoo-ah? Why don't you do the hoo-ah anymore? Why is G1 the best one? I'll wait for answers. Easiest way to answer that, because it is.
Bam. Period. The end.
Because it's connected to Beast Wars.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. No, I think G1's the best one because, probably like most people, wherever you start from, that's what you build on. And so G1 was the originator. That's what I grew up on. It was taught. Think about it this way. There was no storyline planned for G1. It was just a long commercial, and we're still talking about it 40 years later. Just imagine if they would have had a storyline to go with like they do in cartoons now, where it would have gone to or how it would have been.
I mean, just think about it. You got the face of Transformers right here. G1. The character is based in G1. I mean, look at it now. The toys don't hold a candle to what we have today, but this is an iconic toy. That you think of Transformers, you think of this toy right here. Man, he's floppy. So, I mean, it's a combination. It's the nostalgia. It's the fact that's where these came from. And in the 80s, talking about the stories, these guys had a cartoon show. They had comic books. There was just so much to wrap around. All the 80s brands, if you think about it, they all had comics and cartoons and lunch boxes and coloring and everything. There's none of that now.
Nope.
We were just our favorite brands, our favorite toys. We just had so much. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
We have another one. I lost it. I'm rolling up here. Man, they got busy with the questions. What do any of the three of you think about the stuff that's come out so far? I don't know if this was asked already, so I apologize if this is a repaint. I'm loving the stuff that is coming out. It's kind of weird. The United line isn't as much for me because I like the how do you say it? I like the new versions of our G1 figures, like some of the figures, Thundertron and who else? The animated ones that came out. I'm glad that you guys got new versions for those of you who collect those. Me, I don't care about it. The new comic, hyper violent, just the way I wanted in the 80s.
Yeah, for me, we rag a lot on some of the Hasbro figures on the show. I think the main thing that I don't like is the quality. It's been going
Waffles.
downhill. Yeah,
Waffle.
exactly. And just how the plastic feels. I play with older Transformer like Machine War Soundwave I have right here, and he's sturdy. He's not gonna break. But
That's Machine War Soundwave.
oh yeah, sorry, Universe Soundwave. Wrong one. Well, I got this Machine War Soundwave.
Nerds.
Definitely. But like the quality is so much better on the old figures, and now I'm not a big fan of them. And they're not doing anything. They're doing things that are unique, but not things that are experimenting.
Yeah, because
And
think of
that's
those
what I want in my
glorious
Transformer.
G1 gimmicks. Headmasters,
Yes.
Power Masters,
Something
Target
like-
Masters.
Yeah, something fun. All they're doing is putting out the different figures, and yeah, they're good. They look fine, but there's nothing that unites the whole line.
Yeah, I think it was also the fact that the quality, like the sizes, are getting smaller. They're cheapening out on things, but the price keeps going up.
Yeah.
So economically, it's starting to.
That's like why I said when I saw that United line coming out, I was like, I'm gonna save some money on this line.
Yeah, that's what it is for us, and it's sad because I want to buy, but I can't wrap my head around it.
So for both of you, I guess I'm out of this one. If you could pick any G1 toy to get the missing link treatment, who would you pick?
Megatron.
Yes.
Honestly, I would.
Go ahead.
I would probably say Megatron as well. Out
So
of all
saying
of them,
that, being G1ers and loyal Megatron fans, all hail Megatron, are you that upset that he's not a gun anymore?
Oh, definitely. But I understand why, but definitely.
I've grown to realize that, yeah, I love Megatron as a gun. But seeing as he's the leader of a warring faction of robot, tanks make perfect sense to me too. Also, look at it this way. Megatron turning into a gun is just like Darth Vader turning into his own lightsaber.
True. However,
It's still yeah, go ahead.
it's still cool. The thing that got me with Megatron was that he was, to me, he was instant death. Like his persona was instant death. How am I going to create instant death? I'm going to shoot you, you know? And so him turning into a gun, it wasn't just a gun. It was just like a devastating gun. You know, somebody else could shoot you and you're fine. But we saw in the 86 movie, one shot, you know, the recoil on the gun from him, you know, and he was taking people out. I'm about to start crying again, reliving that. But, you know, it was just
Do you remember the comic where the gangster found Megatron in gun mode and how he used that gun to just terrorize the whole city? Because Megatron, he couldn't fire a bullet. He could just fire those insane energy blasts.
That's where I find when they changed him into a tank, I get it, because I mean, and so I'm originally from California, and I remember on the news, you know, there were some kids that got shot by some police officers for wielding a Megatron around. And so I get it. I get why they're doing it. But I'm like, they still have Nerf guns, and, you know, just make Megatron some outlandish color maybe and keep him.
They did the classics Megatron.
Yeah. And I was like, I was cool with it, you know, so, but I mean,
except
again,
the wings. That's the only thing I didn't like was some big ass wings.
Yeah. But, you know, as a tank, fine. As a, you know, some type of jet, fine. But it does upset me that he's not a gun anymore.
Yeah, for me, I'm okay with him being a tank as long as it's not the missing link. If they do some weird missing link Megatron and it's G1 styled and he turns into a tank, that would be a no-go for me.
I just if you are the proud owner of a G1 Megatron, I think you just have to enjoy the fact that you have that. You're not seeing it again.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Let's see where we at now. Let's see if we got any more. I would absolutely buy a Darth Vader figure that turns into a lightsaber.
I would too.
Let's see. He controls his troops with gun.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good.
I always liked in the cartoons too, because sometimes he would turn into a gun that stayed the giant size,
Mm-hmm.
and remember the damage he would call. I've heard that too. That 86 Megatron's going to be a tank. I can see that.
We've been talking about that on the channel a lot. We actually interviewed the marketing director for Robeson as well at TFCon, and we're trying to get some insight on what their Megatron's going to be, if it's going to transform, or is it going to be like their Bumblebee and just be a robotic figure. It's almost like if it turns into a gun, that would be amazing, but there's so much speculation on that. So yeah, the gun mode is iconic.
Oh, here we go. This is a hard one to answer on Transformer Channel. What are your thoughts on GoBots? I know why he's asking this, because he's just starting to collect GoBots.
I don't know much of the cartoon, honestly, but I do like the designs, and I think the toys are really cool. There
were some really cool GoBot figures, and you talk about durable. Mm-hmm. You could knock somebody out by throwing a GoBot at them.
And they're very interesting transformations. That's what I like about the Transformers, is also the transformation and the puzzle aspect, and some of them are really cool. Puzzler, pun intended.
Yeah,
the only GoBots I didn't really like were the deluxe ones, because their heads was just always the windshields.
Yes.
Using one of James' words, they were lazy.
They definitely were.
See, I would love to see a howitzer. I was artillery. When I was in the military, I was artillery. And a howitzer Decepticon, I think, would be awesome. I mean, I think the only howitzer we got was a Micromaster, and he wasn't really an official howitzer. For those of you that don't know, there's a difference between a tank and a howitzer. A tank can fire while moving. A tank is a mobile weapon. Artillery, a howitzer, has to lock in place, put the stabilizers down, and they're designed to launch shells over great distances. So,
I think that would be the perfect live action Megatron.
Yeah. Because he could just sit behind the lines and just rain down hell on the Autobots.
Exactly.
But then again, Megatron would be a frontline guy. He'd want to be up close and personal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up the questions, and that puts us pretty much at an hour. As I promised, I wasn't going to keep you guys on here very long. Thank you so much for hopping on tonight. I hope you had a good time. It was great meeting you. As we said in the green room, one of the great things about this is meeting new Transformer fans, new Transformer friends. I've never met these guys before in my life until tonight, and instant, just like that. And that's the glory of this plastic crack. So,
yes,
guys, if you got any final words, I'll let you say it, and then we will play that outro and call it a night.
You take it, James.
All right, go ahead and check us out on our YouTube channel, Bot vs. Con, or at Bot vs. Con, and we hope to see you there. We'll be going live later on, showing off our hauls. So come and say hi if you're able to.
Yes. Thank you very much for inviting us, Patriot Prime. It's a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for all the new subs. Really do appreciate that.
Excellent. I hope I bring you more, and you guys need them, because your channel is awesome. I really dug it. Like I said, I watched like 5 minutes of it. I'm like, I got to talk to these guys. This is great stuff. It's just neat seeing something unique on YouTube. Like I said, there's so many of us, and something unique and really eye-catchy. I mean, it was immediate. It's like, I have to talk to these guys. Excuse me. And everybody in the chat, once again, thank you for hopping in, engaging with us. It's always fun. Love having you all on as well. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. This is Patriot Prime signing out. Ha!